Now it is my honor to introduce our guest today, the wonderful Lissa Coffey. And I can't think of anyone better to share this topic better together in this field of cooperation than our wonderful Lissa, who is our Vedanta teacher too at the center. And she'll be starting classes the last week in September. So Lissa, are you with us here, honey?
I am here.
Yay! Yay! And so
great song, Bill. I loved it. Oh, so good.
And you know, it's really interesting. And this is one of those, there are no coincidences, as Lissa and Bill are really close friends. And as we love Bill, I mean, but we're not close like you guys are close. You know?
We met at the church.
You've got to be, I did not know that.
Yeah.
You met at the church and then,
yeah.
Okay, I'm taking credit.
So it's all family. It's all family.
It is. It's very much family. You're absolutely correct. And so I'm sorry. It sounded like it was raining here. So anyway, so to get what I'm going for today, Lissa, with you, and I'll just state where I'm at. And then I want to hear from you because of all people, you are the most cooperative, loving, amazing person. And there are so much about you that I admire and respect and would like to emulate so much in my life too, just in that oneness and that love of who you are. So what I'm going for today is that we are better together through cooperation. And my intention is just to share that we come into this moment together in that state of oneness. And we are here to stretch beyond the challenges we face worldwide, and especially in, you know, we're so close because we're in California. Most of us here today, oh yeah, we're all in California today. And with all the fires coming from that place of oneness, I just want to move into that field of cooperation and gratitude for it all without denying that crises exist. They exist. But I want to help all of us that are listening and on this program to move to that edge of growth into that greater depth and height and experience of divine spirit and God through it all. And I think I would like this opportunity to hear from you and see where you're at in all of this and how we can rise above. Lissa.
Yes. It sounds like you're talking to everybody. Like, okay, everybody jump in, you know?
No, honey, just you, just the two of us.
Oh, it's interesting because what you said is exactly what Vedanta says, that cooperation, there's more to cooperation than just the word cooperation. It's the spirit of cooperation. And in Vedanta, we actually have a word for spirit of cooperation. And it's in the Bhagavad Gita. It's called Kamadenhu. And Kamadenhu actually translates to the mythical wish-fulfilling cow. So it's like when you want something really badly, you need to cooperate. You need to come together as a team. And they often use this example of the yagya. I don't know if you guys have participated in one ever, but it's like this holy fire ritual. And I have a fire pit in my backyard so that we can do them. And when we're all out of this mess, you guys come on over and we're going to do a yagya. It's like amazing. So the actual fire pit, the trough where you put the fire, is called the field of activity, or the kund. So this is all the same languaging that you were using. So I'm like, did she read my mind? Or no, I think it's that we're just, you know, science of mind is so in sync with Vedanta. So what you do is you have like an intention for the fire, and it may be, you know, a holy holiday or something like that, but you throw grains into the fire and ghee, you know, butter, it makes the fire burn hot. But the grains that you throw into the fire represent your personal desires. You want to be desireless. You want to be happy with everything you have. You don't want to want things that are outside of you. You want to want only God, right? Mm-hmm. So when everybody participates in this together, what you're doing is you're throwing in your selfishness and going for the greater good. So everybody is having that experience together, and it's so uplifting and it's so wonderful. And then what they do is they have, from the ashes of the fire, you put 3 fingers in there, and then you put 3 stripes on your forehead. And that means that you have gotten freedom from mental, physical, and intellectual desires. And you have now left your spiritual desires, which is the upliftment of everyone, right?
So in an everyday sense, we can let go of those selfish desires and take that opportunity in meditation and prayer to seek what the passion of the soul really wants us to seek and express. And it's the greatest priority to share that passion of the soul in that prayer field as we cooperate and we erase everything negative and we go to that oneness that goes the highest and best for all.
Yeah, because really, you know, the topic is better together, right? Well, we're always together. We just don't always recognize that we're together. We feel alone and separate and individual and powerless, and, you know, that we have to struggle on our own. But the truth is, we are all in this together. So when we recognize it, that's when we're better together, right? And there's examples of this everywhere. We see it every time a sports team plays, right? They have a field of action. So say it's the Lakers, right? So they have a field of action as the court where everybody plays. But, you know, a guy's not in it to be the highest scorer of the whole season, because if he did, what would happen to the team, right? He's only in it for himself. You have to be in it for the team and for the good of the team. And it's not just the team who's in it, it's the coach, the trainers, the managers, even the fans who are rooting them on. It takes everyone to make this experience happen. And everybody has to want the good of the whole, not just their own personal desires. So what Vedanta says is we want to replace this spirit of competition, which is so rampant in Western society, right? It's the keeping up with the Joneses, and you got to be better, and you got to be faster, and you got to be richer, and all that stuff, with this spirit of cooperation, this kamadenu. So
what I see in this field of cooperation that you're talking about is there's a spiritual maturity. As you let go of the selfishness, you rise above into the greater good for all. And I'll just do really briefly, I did a talk on this before about the cooperation, where anything we buy at a store, it is hundreds and hundreds of people. And I'll use the banana as the example. And the chimpanzee just goes and gets his food right from the tree. And so, but in our case, people pick them, then they have to have people take them to the boat, and the boat takes them over, and then they go to different places where they are inspected, and then the inspectors, you know, load them up on trucks, and the trucks take them to the store, and then we go to the store and we buy that banana, and we've cooperated even in what we call the money, the dollar. The dollar is we all agreed that that silly little piece of paper is how much a banana is worth, is in that money that we hand over to the clerk. And then the clerk, that money goes out to buy the bananas again. And so in that circle, everything we do requires cooperation in our life. And so I think being grateful too for all it takes to cooperate in this world.
And knowing, like you said, that it's all this chain, you know, of, and if there's one missing link there, then, you know, if the boat doesn't come over, the bananas don't get on the boat, if one little thing happens, then you don't get your banana at the end of the chain, right? So recognizing that it's all these links in a chain. And there's another part in the Bhagavad Gita, which I love, probably one of my favorite lines, that Krishna says is how he is the thread that continues throughout, the infinite thread, and we are all like pearls on the chain. And so we're one, but that God source runs through each of us. That's what makes us alive. And when we strive for that spirit of cooperation, I really think that that's tuning into the commonalities of all of us. It's looking for the good of the whole, not just your own good, you know. I mean, you're absolutely right. It's spiritual maturity. It's growth. It takes a while to get there, you know, and I think even, you know, little kids, we start learning this when they grab somebody's toy and they're like, mine, you know. Well, you get a little older and you go, well, nothing is really mine. You know, you can't take it with you. Nothing is. Even your kids are not your kids, really. They grow up and they go and do their own thing, you know?
That is true. The only thing we take with us is our soul and its awakened state. And I believe, well, first of all, I know for sure I can do a testimony right here. All of the classes I've had with you, all of the classes in Science of Mind, all of the sacred texts say that we are born from the likeness of the divine God spirit, and that is love. And we take this all into that oneness and into that cooperation, and we see beyond the personality, and we see beyond the challenges, knowing that we come into this heaven on earth, so to speak. We can create heaven wherever we are. And I'll tell just a really brief story. My daughter, some of us remember and know Dr. Betty Ann, who was our chiropractor, not our wonderful, this Dr. Betty Ann, that's Reverend Betty Ann, but Dr. Betty Ann, who was with us, and she made her transition and everybody loved her. And Katie had a dream about her. My daughter had a dream about her. And she said, I don't understand it. And to me, I said, you have to interpret this your own way. But Dr. Betty Ann took her to a door and showed her the keyhole with light coming out. And she said, if you want to, Katie said, what is heaven on earth like? What is it like there? And she said, I will show you. And she showed Katie this hole, this keyhole you looked through and saw the light. And Katie said, I don't understand it. And I said, I have my interpretation that wherever you are, whether you're in that next dimension, you are in that heaven as you choose it. Your choices make the difference in that oneness, in that love. And that's what I chose to interpret it. But it made sense to Katie too, that it is like where we are, and we can make these choices to go beyond and become in that world that works for everyone, in that cooperation.
Absolutely. I love that, you know, and it's the choice of choosing where to look, right? And, you know, are you going to look at the light or are you going to look at the darkness? Because both are there, right? If you're not looking in the keyhole, you're looking outside of the keyhole. What's the point, right? Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and cooperation is in every aspect of our life, even right now, right? You got Zoom, you got Facebook, you got all these different people, you got, you know, behind the scenes and all the preparation that goes into it. And you actually have something that comes out of it that's tangible, that's good for everybody.
You know, I agree. And I'm just going to touch on this. Right now, there are so many challenges, obviously, in our life, and how that those pearls are bringing us all together back into oneness and to love when we rise above it. And one of this is our political challenge right here in America. And when you go into that field of cooperation, we bless all the politicians, and we go to that divine blessing, but I always choose what is highest and best for all. And we don't struggle or strive. We don't go into strife with what we're going through in our personal essence. We go to knowing that where struggle and strife is, there is peace and there is purpose. And there we hold that space for not only the world, but for everyone that is expressing itself on this planet. But we never hold that vision, that focus on the prize. And the prize is that love and that oneness. What does Vedanta say about oneness?
It's all about unity, and that there is only one, right? And we are all part of that one. So it's it's not, actually, it's not even that we're all a part of that one. We are that one. It's the same one. It's the same I. There's no individual I. It's knowing who you are is that. So, you know, it takes a while to, it's such a big concept that it takes a while to understand it. You need to meditate on it. And you know that Ramana Maharshi, that was his whole, all that he preached, all that he taught his whole life was, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Right? So if you're in meditation and you're just sitting quietly with your eyes closed and you're like, who am I? Who am I? Well, you're not this body, you're not this mind, you're not this chair that you're sitting in, you're not, you know, there are roles you play in life. You know, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a writer, I'm a teacher, I'm a whatever. Am I that? Is that who I am? No, those are roles I play. Who am I? And when you can grapple with that and understand who you really are, then, oh my gosh, the world is your oyster. You've got it. You're just so at peace and so calm and so, you know, you can't help but be cooperative because you don't understand anything else. You know the connection, and you would never, it would never occur to you to harm anybody. You know, it would never occur to you to do something that was not in integrity, because you know you're only hurting yourself.
I want to go back to something that you taught me and others that really made sense to me, because I always wondered, well, if we are one, then how come each one of us is this unique fingerprint of God? And you use that bucket of water. Will you do that analogy again of where when you stare, when the reflection comes back of how, yeah.
Okay, so we know that there's, and this is not, I didn't make this up, this is a Vedanta thing, right? I heard it from Swami Sarvadevananda. But we know there's one sun in the sky, right? We look up, we all agree, yes, there's one sun. We see one sun, right? But you put buckets on the ground and you put water in the buckets and you see the reflection of the sun, right? Say there's 10 buckets. You look and you go, well, how many suns are there? Well, there's 10. Well, no, you're looking at a reflection of the sun. The sun is the one right there. There's not 10. If I pour the water out, is there only 9 suns? No, there's still one sun up there. We are all a reflection of that one God, Brahman, Atman, you know, Krishna, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's got different names for it. God goes by many different names. It doesn't matter. Yeah. God doesn't care what name you call him. You could call him or her or it, whatever. Universal energy. There's one. So you could have, like people, there's one God, and then each of us are that little bucket of water, the sun. We may lose the body. Does that mean the sun is gone? No, the sun is there. The sun is always there. We are still there because the sun is there.
And you know what is interesting though, but in what a lot of people don't understand, the Hindu gods and Vedantism also, and yet they're all the aspects of the one. Right. Would you like to speak about that?
Yeah, so Vedanta is kind of comes from the philosophy of Hinduism without the rites and rituals and stuff like that, right? It's the knowledge behind Hinduism. And a lot of people say that it's Hinduism is polytheistic because they have so many different gods, and which god do you worship and blah, blah, blah. They're all the same God. But God is so big and vast and powerful and unique and varied that in order to better understand God and get close to God and learn from God, they have these little like personalities of God, aspects of God that are expressed through these different gods, right? So we know that, like when they say Mother Divine, okay, which Mother Divine? There's Mother Divine who's the caring, loving mother, cuddling her baby, kissy, kissy face. Oh, we love you. You're so good. But there's also the Mother Divine that's fierce, collie. Don't mess with my kid. yeah, I'm protecting him. You got to come through me to get to that kid. Both of those are the mother, right? We have different aspects of our personality. So imagine, we can't even imagine God having all the aspects that all of us have, right? It's beyond. It's beyond.
I was taught by someone, I'm pretty sure Science of Mind, that first of all, our greatest thing is not only know ourselves, but we're here to give God a good time. And that also, that is that to stay in joy. And also that for the thing itself, Ernest Holmes would call it sometimes the thing itself, the only thing there is, the divine spirit, to know itself. We are the reflection, just like the sun's in the bucket. And yet each reflection is different. Each wave in it is different. Everything is different. For so God to know itself, he is experiencing itself, the thing itself, in and through and as us. And from that highest space, but always giving us free choice, free will. And we can choose that darkness always. There's always going to be dark and light, because how would we know? It's like music has high notes, and low notes. So for us to even feel the love of the music, we have to have that whole spectrum to feel the emotion and the passion in our soul. And that's what basically God is doing on this planet as well. But we are a choice always to where we're at.
Yeah, and we each have a gift to give. We're each a part of the puzzle. We're each a piece of the pie, you know. We're here for a purpose. When we cooperate and help each other, you'll see that we have this. It's like in an orchestra, like you're using the music example. One guy can't play all the different instruments. Different people have to play different instruments. And if I play the clarinet, I may not know how to play the violin. So I need the violin player, right? Or if you're building a house, one guy is not going to get out there and do it all. You need a plumber, you need an electrician. These people have knowledge that we don't necessarily have. But you know what? We don't need to have it because they have it. We have something else to bring to the party.
Exactly. I think someone said, maybe Oprah, I can't be you, that's already taken. I have to be my own self for God to know its own self. So imitation, authenticity works best in every single relationship that we have. And so I just want to close, and then I'll let you close too. Lissa, I love you. You know, I hope you know this. You are so generous, and I aspire to be as generous as you are in your goods, in your mind, in your body, in your soul, in every way that I know. You're just an amazing woman. So anyway, I just want to thank you for being with us. And I just also, in this moment, I hope that we, as I would say, together have touched the hem of the garment of the infinite beauty, infinite field of infinite possibility, light, and infinite peace. And I'm just grateful for you coming together with me in this moment, in this infinite field, seeing and feeling this infinite field of possibility and bliss, and to remind us of what it means to return home to the frequency of joy and love and bliss. And so I just bless you, and I'll let you close out.
I just remind people that we're talking about the spirit of cooperation, Kamadenu, that wish-fulfilling cow. So don't feel ever like you're alone, that you're in it, that you need to struggle. Just call on God, put your energies forth, and that team of friends, family, community, spirit, everything comes to support you and your wishes in that Kamadenu.
Kamadenu, it's my new word. Say it again.
Kamadenu, the wish-fulfilling cow.
Okay, all right. And I love you. I love you. That's it. And I can't wait. Too. I can't wait to do the ya. I'm already ya. You say it again. Yeah. I can't wait. I am, and now I have something to even consciously see us around that fire, and this is over, done with, and we are back together again.